In this week's tech tip video, we're going to introduce the turning product in Solidworks CAM. You'll see that there's two different versions of Solidworks CAM, the standard and the professional. Solidworks CAM standard comes free with your Solidworks subscription. You'll see that there's a few extra features in the Solidworks CAM professional. 3+2 programming. This option is available inside of SolidWorks CAM Professional, and that gives you the ability to add in fourth and fifth axis indexing on your milling machine. There's also high-speed machining, our volume mill tool path for roughing tool paths. And then we've also got the ability to program lathes, and that's our turning capabilities. So that's what we'll be covering today. So I've opened the part inside of SolidWorks, and I'm going to switch over into my SolidWorks CAM tab. So I've added in the SolidWorks CAM inside my add-ins, and then I'm also going to switch over into my SolidWorks CAM feature tree. Once I've switched over into the CAM portion, I'm going to go ahead and change my machine to a turning machine instead of the milling machine. So I'll go ahead and define my machine from my command manager. You'll see inside of SolidWorks CAM Professional, I have the ability to choose a turning machine. In the SolidWorks CAM Standard, I would just have the milling. I'm going to go ahead and choose Select. And now that I've selected my turning machine, I can choose the tool crib that I want to use for this. So I'm going to choose Tool Crib 2, which is my rear tool crib. I'm going to choose my post processor, so the 2-axis post. And then I'll go ahead and choose OK. Once I've changed over into turning, you'll notice that my stock is now cylindrical. So I'll go ahead and set up my stock. So we'll choose Stock Manager. And you can see that there is a material selection in the top here. So I think we have over 1,200 different materials that we can choose from. In this case, I'm just going to choose an aluminum material. There's multiple different ways to select your stock. So we have the option of just round bar stock. So we can choose the dimensions of that round bar stock. We can also use a Revolve sketch from SolidWorks, Revolve 2D work in progress file from a previous program. We have the option of using an STL file, as well as a SolidWorks part file if you want to model up that part. So I'm just going to use the round bar stock. You'll notice that we do have the option of using both solid and cord stock. In this case, I'm just going to use the solid stock, and I'm going to add a little bit of material to the front of this part so that I can face this off. So I'm going to hold the part in the back here, and then I'm going to add a little bit on the front so I can face off the feature. So I'll go ahead and add to the front of the part, which is going to be this front face of the stock offset. I'll just use the arrows and add that in, or I can type in how much I want to add to the front. And it'll just add that to the front face. We'll go ahead and choose OK. And now I'm going to set up my coordinate system. So with turning, you'll notice that my main spindle has actually already been set for me. It chooses the front face of that feature and it places it in the correct direction. So I've got my X facing in the correct direction and then that Z axis for my turning machine. If I did want to change that, I can go ahead and choose Edit Definition on that feature. And again, this is very similar to the milling aspect of creating a coordinate system. We have two different methods. We can use the SolidWorks coordinate system, or we can choose user-defined. So the last option here I'm going to choose, and then I'm also going to select the stock vertex because again, we've added material to the front of this feature. So I want the end of the stock to be my coordinate system. So we'll go ahead and choose the OK button. And now my main spindle coordinate system is in the correct location. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to find all of the different machinable features on this part. So what I'm going to do is use my automatic feature recognition, which is extract machinable features. So I'll choose that, and it's going to find all of the different machinable features on this part. So my turn setup 1 has been created. I've got a facing feature. You can kind of see it in blue here that's been highlighted. I've got an outer diameter feature. So again, it's just using half of the part because that's where the tool is actually going to be cutting. I've got a groove feature, this interior feature here. I've got another groove feature, and then I've got a cutoff feature on the back. So in this case, I have nothing to cut off, so I can just go ahead and delete this feature as it's not needed. So we'll right click on this feature and we'll choose delete, or you can use delete key on your keyboard. It goes into a recycling bin, so if at any time I need to bring that back, I can just right click and choose restore. I'll minimize the recycling bin so I can't see it. So the next thing that I want to do is make sure that all of my features have the correct machining strategy. So that's a strategy in brackets beside each feature. So on my outer diameter feature, I've got what's called the rough finish strategy. We'll go into the parameters, my right click menu, and you can see I'm going to get a turn rough and a turn finish toolpath. There are multiple different strategies that can be selected from within these features. We can also create as many different strategies as we want as well, taking advantage of the knowledge-based programming. We'll go ahead and choose OK on our rough finish, and then we'll go ahead and generate the operation plan. Now that the operation plan has been generated, we switched over from our feature tree into our operations tree, and you can see we've got all of our tool paths listed in here. We'll now go ahead and generate the tool paths for this program. So I've got my face rough tool path, the face finish. So again, you can see them as I highlight them. So here's my face finish. Then I've got my turn rough, which is going to rough that outer diameter feature. And then I've got the finish that's going to come through and clean that up. You'll notice that it is also smart enough to know that the stock finishes at this point, so the tool path is not going to cut past there. It's also smart enough to know that it's going to skip over the groove features because we've got the groove tool paths that are going to come through and cut that. We do have the ability in the tool paths to adjust this tool path and override where it's cutting. We could also have it cut down into these grooves if we needed to in this tool path. So we've got the groove rough and the groove finish, another groove rough and groove finish for the bigger groove. Now that we have our tool paths, we can go ahead and simulate this program. And then we'll go ahead and press the play button. So I've just lowered my speed slider a little bit, and we can see we are getting our facing tool path, so it's the roughing, then the finishing. Now we've got a roughing tool path of the outer diameter. And again, we can speed this process up. And once we're finished, we can use this show difference button. And what that's going to do is it's going to show us in green that everything's been cut directly to the CAD model in question. So anything in red would mean that we've gouged into the part somewhere, and anything in the blue would mean that we've still got some material to cut. So this part looks really good. We'll go ahead and choose OK. After simulating, we can go through each of the tool paths and make any changes that we need to make to the tool path. So you're either going to double click on the tool path, or you can right click and choose Edit Definition. And this will take you into all of the different settings inside of our turning tool paths. Once we've got everything set up the way we want, we can simulate again, or we can go to the post process. So we'll go ahead and post. I'm going to save this in my G-code folder. I'm going to make sure that I open this up into my Solidworks CAM NC editor. I'll go ahead and play through the code. So now that I've created the code and I press the green check mark, this is going to open this up into my NC editor, and I can go through and take a look at my final G code.